Welcome to the TPC Desktop video series. In this video, we're going to take a look at laying out parking striping inside of a Traverse PC drawing. And we're going to use some tools that will be coming out in TPC Desktop 2018. So this is a survey that started as a site survey with topo and utilities, that sort of thing. And then the city wanted some preliminary lighting designs, parking design, vegetative buffer designs. And we're going to go ahead and put those together for them using their specifications. Now, I did a couple of different layouts for this. I'm going to take a look at the traverses here. You see this stripes 45? So took a look at some traverses, some layouts using the 45-degree angles that the city specified. And we didn't get enough parking spaces with that. So we basically came in and said, okay, let's try the 60-degree angle here. And that's what you're looking at in this particular drawing. And we picked up about another 18 parking spaces by doing that. So even in our preliminary design, we know we're on the right track. So let's go ahead and zoom in here. And I'm going to disable this traverse here. I'm just going to go to untag. And let's recreate this line here, or this set of parking stripes on the east side. I think that'd be kind of a good thing for us to tackle here. So I'm going to start by saying we know from the city code that we need to leave a 5-foot vegetative buffer from the parking edge of the parking lot to the property line. And then they're going to let us put in a curb detail here that comes in 1/2 foot. So I need to be 5.5 feet off of this, in other words. So let's go ahead and offset this line. Modify object, offset. Let's put in a distance of 5.5 and then click the side over here. And I'm going to change this. I'll leave that line like that. So I start here at the north end of the parking. Now I want to make sure it goes all the way down. Do you see how it doesn't extend quite down far enough here? So I need to go down a little bit farther on this line. So I'm going to go into the line properties. I'm going to hold down the control key so I get just that line. Double click. And right now it's 130 feet. Let's make it 160 feet and just see what we get. We're heading due south. Okay, not quite far enough. Let's go a little bit farther. Now I don't have to be real exact here, and I can get an exact distance, but I think this will be adequate for what we want to do. Okay, now I want to convert this line that I drew to a survey because I want that to be the base part of the traverse there. So I'm going to say convert to survey, and I'm going to call this, let's call it, what do they call these? 60-degree stripes, and I'll call this one 0. We can't reuse the 1 here. I'm going to insert it right above that one, hit OK. So if I expand the stripes again now, here's this traverse I just created. It has just 2 points in it, the beginning and end of the line. And I don't need that dashed line anymore, but I'll leave it in there for now. Let's go ahead and double click this traverse to open it. Let's do a couple of things here. Let's go into the traverse drawing settings, and I think I've got a format for parking stripes. Let's see, yeah, parking stripes. Let's recall that. And I'm using a paved line type with a width of 3/100 and a blue for the control points. Same thing here, I think, for the side shots. Okay, so that's how it's going to draw that line for us. And you can see it just drew it in the drawing here for us. So here are the steps I want to do. I'm going to create the parking stalls a certain distance apart, and I'm going to make them a certain length, and then I'm going to set their angle to match the city code. So let's bring over the page out of the city code here that says if you're going to do parking striping like this, and here we're working on a single, I'm going to have this distance between stripes, okay, and then I'm going to have this offset to the edge of the striping. And I look down here for the 60, and I see that offset is 20 feet, and the distance between striping is 11. So I use a calculator and say, okay, the length then along this diagonal here is 23 feet. So I want to create points 11 feet apart, and I want to do side shots or distances that are 23 feet out at this 60-degree angle. So that's just kind of a visual of where I'm headed here. So the first thing I want to do is go into COGO. I'm going to use multiple points. I'm going to specify a distance of 11. Traverse PC is going to tell me how many points I'm going to get. I'm going to get 16 points there, and I'm going to collapse this down like this. Okay, so then I want to create an offset from the first point, the next point, the next point, 23 feet at 60 degrees. Well, the easiest way for me to do that is to create those points. I won't get them exactly right, but I can do that with the right-of-way offset using the entire traverse. So I'm going to go right because this is a traverse is going south. I want these to be on the right side in that direction. I'm going to go a distance of 23 feet. I'm going to create side shots. I'm just going to say compute. Okay, so you can see right away my side shots are basically in there. Now, offset points are, they don't have a direction stored with them. They simply are the perpendicular bisector of the angle going in and out of that point. So they bisect an angle or they're perpendicular to a tangent curve, that sort of thing. And what I want to do, I want to change the direction. So I don't want these to be offset points. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to select all of the offset points, and then I'm going to just press F10. So they all became side shots. Now it doesn't know what direction they're going, so it's still just kind of confused there. But watch how easy it is for me to fix this. I'm going to tell Traverse PC, and again, I'm just going to select the side shots here. Okay, just like I selected offsets a moment ago. And since I want them to be 60 degrees southeast here, let's put that in for the bearing. So 360 is my bearing. Now all my points are over there right where I want them. My distance is 23 feet, and I think it put that in when I did the offsets. Nope. So let's go ahead and type that in, 23. And now each of those points is going to have 23 feet of raw data. So I could come back in any time. See how I've got 60 degrees and 23 feet? I can come in any time and simply recompute those by changing the angle or the distance of those side shots. And then you see how the drawing settings have controlled the striping, so it actually looks pretty good for me. Now, if I didn't quite start where I wanted to start here, let's go ahead and drag that down. And I'm going to just disable this background layer real quick because it kind of gets in the way when we're trying to move stuff around. And I'm just going to tell Traverse PC that I want to move that traverse. And it says, hey, I selected objects associated with the traverse, so I want to continue. So now the whole traverse got selected. And I want to move it so the endpoint of this stripe here is kind of fits in here. Now I could put it right on that line again. I'm just going to kind of do it kind of visually here so you can see where we're at. And then all I would need to do is come down and hide this last line down here. So see how this is a striped line? I'm just going to come in and hide that. And then I could shorten up this line or hide this last little segment here. Here's a tangent in there. And I'm going to hide that as well. Okay, so actually I fit pretty close. I've got that 9-foot little section left over that I didn't use and I don't care about. And let's go ahead and turn that background layer back on just so we can kind of see how this fits with everything. So really pretty easy for me to come in and preliminarily lay out that striping. And then basically we're going to go to the city and say, what do we need to do to meet the design requirements here? And is this something that I can do for them? Do we need to hire an engineer to do this? And we're going to do that for the parking, for the lighting, for the bioswale buffers, for the underground utilities, and present this to the city. And it's a great start then. And what time did it take me? A few minutes to create this information for them. And if you notice over here, I've got some information that tells them, I need to turn on the parking here. Okay, so we tell them they pick up the 66 parking spaces at the 60-degree angle, and they require a minimum of 18 feet of aisle width. So preliminarily, we know we're meeting that design. Okay, so a real quick look at creating those parking stripings inside of Traverse PC and using some tools that are new in TPC Desktop 2018.